Hello all, welcome to Trilinga Academy. So in this video I am going to discuss national income. So here we are going to understand what is national income and why every country need to calculate income of that particular country and what national income of a country indicating to us. So national income prati country endu calculate chestaru, what national income of a country reflecting to that country public as well as to the other countries. What is the importance of calculating national income? What we could understand by knowing national income of any country. So simply we can say that national income indicates us the economic progress of a particular country. So it is calculated by using different measures. There are different measures in order to calculate national income as well as different methodologies or methods to calculate national income of any country. Here, by definition, what is national income? It is defined as it is a total money value or else monetary value of final goods and services. National income is defined as it is the total money value of final goods and services produced during a particular financial year, or else you can say during a year. Whatever the total volume of goods and services has been produced during a particular financial year and calculating money value of those goods which are produced in a year, we obtain national income of that particular country. Here, or else we can say one more definition. National income can be defined as it is the sum of total income generated by people of a country. National income also can be defined as it is a sum of total income generated by people in a country is also called as national income. So, but here it is very difficult to calculate income of each and every citizen of a country. That's why in order to know income of all the people of a country, we are indirectly calculating money value of goods and services in order to obtain income of all the people of a country, right? So whatever, let's say for example, a person is getting certain amount of salary as income. Where he is going to spend his income? In the market. So in market he is going to spend all his income in order to purchase goods and services. That means whatever people are getting income, they are finally going to spend in the economy in order to purchase goods and services. So in order to calculate national income, indirectly we are calculating money value of goods and services which are produced during a particular financial year, because it is very difficult to calculate income of all the citizens of a country. So instead of calculating income of all the citizens of a country, it is better to calculate what are the volume of goods and services has been produced during a particular financial year. If you know the money value of those goods and services, that is nothing but income spent by all the people in that country in order to purchase these goods and services. That is the one of the reason why we are calculating money value of goods and services in order to calculate income of all the citizens of a country. Here again one word is very important here, that is final goods and services. Why we are only calculating money value of final goods and services? Why not all goods and services produced in an economy? Because final goods are the goods which are consuming. So final goods are the goods, by using these goods further we cannot produce any item. Final goods only meant for consumption purpose or else final end user. So we can finally use the final goods, otherwise we cannot produce any another item through production process, right? So that's why, so whatever, where people spend their income, final goods and services, not intermediary goods. And also the cost of the intermediary product is added in the final item. Let's say for example, if you purchase a car is the final good, right? Car is the example of the final good. So you can drive car, you can use car, but you cannot produce any other item by using this car as raw material. Car is a final item, and the steel which is used during the production process of that car, and the plastic which is used to make that car, and also the tires of the car, glasses of the car, all these are the intermediary products. So what are the things which are used in order to produce the final item of car? All these things are nothing but intermediary goods. The cost of the steel, plastic and tire of the car, everything is added in the final cost of the car, right? So that means the value of intermediary goods already added in the final goods. So if you are going to calculate money value of all goods, that means intermediary and final goods, which leads to double calculation. So let's say for example, a car sell in the market at 4 lakh rupees. So that 4 lakh itself included the cost of the intermediary products also. So again you are adding separately, maybe it leads to it will show the higher value. That is the reason why we will not take intermediary products while calculating GDP. The cost of the intermediary products will be already included in the cost of the final product. That is the reason why we are taking money value of total goods and services in order to calculate the national income, to avoid double calculation. Okay, so that is all about definition of the national income and the understanding of the final and intermediary goods. Move on to the next one. What are the sources of the national income? So we are calculating national income, right? So what are the sources? From which sources the national income of a country is generating? In India, we have 3 sectors and we are able to employ people of this country in 3 sectors. Primary sector, that is nothing but agriculture and its allied activities. And the secondary sector, that is we know very well, that is industry. And tertiary sector, that is service sector, like for example IT, okay, banking and health. So all these will comes under the tertiary sector. So these are the 3 sectors. These 3 sectors are generating income every year, and the summation of income generated by all these 3 sectors is nothing but the summation. That means the sum of income generated by all these 3 sectors, primary, secondary and tertiary, simultaneously we obtain national income. That is simply we can represent with NI, national income. So the income generated by all the 3 sectors of Indian economy together is nothing but what? National income. So the national income is generated from 3 sectors in Indian economy. These are primary, secondary and tertiary sector. Okay. So move on to the next one. So how to measure national income of India? How the government of India is measuring? Not government of India. Now the responsibility to calculate national income, who is responsible to publish the statistics of national income in India, that is by NSO. That is by NSO. Earlier, CSO was responsible to publish the statistics of the national income. Central Statistical Office was responsible to publish national income statistics every year. But now, after merging NSSO, National Sample Survey Organization, with the CSO, a new department is formed. That is, now it is called as NSO, National Statistical Organization. So now NSO is responsible in order to publish the national income statistics of the India. So you do remember NSO is responsible right now to publish the national income statistics of India. So now, so how they measure national income? So there are, I told you earlier in the starting of the class, there are different methods and as well as different measures to measure national income. Every method and measuring national income, almost every this method and measure one and the same, but they calculate national income in different perspective. Okay, let's see. So GDP is one of the measure to calculate national income. In that same manner, GNP is one of the measure. Measure means which measures the national income, and NNP also one of the measure to indicate national income of India. But here, which is reliable? So which is believable, and the government of India always consider GDP as the a real indicator of the national income, because GDP here, gross domestic, we want to see development of the domestic sector. That's why gross domestic product we are considering as the real GDP of our country. So let us see what are the difference between these each and every measure, GDP, GNP and NNP. Before we are going to understand what is GDP, GNP and NNP, let us understand what are the different methods are there to calculate national income from each and every sector. Of course, we have three types of methods in order to calculate national income, but each and every method, all these methods are one and the same, but they calculate national income in different perspective. So let us see the production method. So which method we are using to calculate national income, that is depends upon suitability of each and every sector to that particular method. So which method is suitable to calculate income from three sectors of the economy, that method is supposed to use in that particular sector to calculate the national income. We know there are three sectors: agriculture, industry and service sector in India. So which method is suitable in order to calculate income from three sectors of economy, that method is supposed to use to the particular sector to calculate income from that sector, right? Let's say for example, production method is suitable to calculate income from of the industries. Okay. So in such way, so here as per the availability of data in each and every sector, we can predict which method is suitable to calculate income from a particular sector of the Indian economy. So let us see what are these three methods in order to calculate national income. So the first one is production method. So here production method is defined as taking money value of all goods and services produced during a particular financial year is nothing but production method. Here Q represent total quantity of goods and services. Total quantity of goods and services. And P is the prices, right? So let's say for example, during the financial year of 2019-20, okay, how much volume of goods are produced in the year of 1920 and at what prices these goods sell in the market, that is multiplied with the quantity of goods and services in order to get the money value of total goods and services those are produced in the financial year of 1920. So in such way we are calculating GDP through the production method. Okay, let's say for example, in the year of 2019-20, 5 kgs onions produced during the year of 1920. Let us assume like that. Take one example. So total goods and services produced in 1920 would be 5 kgs onions. Each kg onions are sold in the market at 10 rupees. So now what is the overall sum of this? Here 5 kg is the total quantity of goods produced in 1920 and these 5 kgs, each kg sold in the market at 10 rupees in 1920. The overall we get how much? 50 rupees. So during the year of 1920, the national income of, that means the value of goods and services produced, the overall volume of goods and services produced would be 50 rupees, right? So in that way, we calculate money value of total goods and services produced during a particular financial year. Okay, let's see the income method. So income method, calculating income of all the people together. We obtain national income through income method. Here, in order to calculate income of the people, we are following again a different procedure here, that is income method calculating income of the people through 4 factors of the production. What are the 4 factors of the production? So for example, if I want to manufacture this marker, what are the 4 factors required to manufacture this marker? First of all, I want to start an industry, right? To start an industry or to establish an industry, I want land. Land is one of the factor of the production. And later, as the second factor, I want labor to work in the industry. And the third one is, I want to buy machinery. For that, I want investment. That means capital, money required to start business. And last one is, owner is also mandatory, right? That is nothing but entrepreneur. Okay. So these are the four factors of the production. Land generates rent. The owner is landowner will get rent, and labor gets wages or salaries. Capital get, when you invested money, you get interest payments, and entrepreneurs will get what? Profit. Profit as their income. Here we are able to know income of the four people. So in such way we can calculate national income through income method. But what is the drawback? What is the drawback of this method? Because here the drawback is, it is a regulated sector, right? This is a regulated sector, so that we are easily access to the information of each and every factory, how much production they have been done in a particular financial year, and how much salaries they paid, how much they invested, how much profit they got finally. But what about the unregulated sector, like agriculture laborers, chartered accounts peoples, doctors? These people are not part of the regulated sectors of industry. So we cannot calculate income of those people, right? So who are the people are working in unregulated sector? We unable to calculate, or else we unable to include these people income in the income method. So this is the drawback of this income method. But so who are the people are working in the regulated sector? We can calculate income of those people by using income method under the national income. And the last one is expenditure method. Expenditure method. By taking expenditure of all the people together in an economy, we obtain national income through expenditure method. So here GDP is equal to simply GDP is equal to C plus I plus G plus X minus M. Here C for total consumption expenditure of the public, I for total investment expenditure of the corporates, and G for total government expenditure. Every year government used to enact budget. That budget is going to spend as government expenditure. They are spending budget in the economy as the government expenditure. And the last one is X for exports, M for imports. That means net exports. Net exports. Here this is a total expenditure of the people who are living in our country, and which is going to spend where? In the economy. So this is a total expenditure spent by all the people of our country together in a particular financial year, and that amount is going to spent in the economy to purchase what? Goods and services, right? So which means the total expenditure is going to spent on Q for total quantity of goods and services produced in a particular financial year. If I want to know money value of this total quantity of goods and services produced in a particular financial year, I should multiply with prices, right? So now what I will get? GDP, gross domestic product. So this is the total expenditure of the public who are living in India together, where they are going to spend finally on total goods and services. So that's why Q. So Q is the total quantity of goods and services. If I want to know money value of quantity of goods and services, I should multiply with at what prices these goods and services sell in the market. So that is P here. So now I obtain what I obtain? GDP, gross domestic product. Okay, I hope you understand the difference between the production method, income and expenditure method. So in such way we can calculate national income of any country or national income of